中の心と物質
Yerp.
So shout out to you.
What's up?
We just had some technical issues.
We did.
Technical difficulties.
But thank God I'm here, you know.
Fucking Mark Zuckerberg over here.
That's what I'm saying, bro. They call me the Geek Squad when it comes to technology. The Geek Squad.
You are the Geek Squad and the Genius Squad.
That's what I'm
you
saying,
run
bro.
both of them.
I would never want to work in those places, bro. Fuck out of here. Fixing your bitch ass fucking phone. Oh, my phone don't work.
Go outside and touch some grass. How about that?
That's what I'm saying, bro. Go fix your own shit, bro. I'm here trying to gamble $15 on the Knicks right now.
And what game you watching?
The Knicks. I'm not watching the game right now. I'm on DraftKings at this very moment, and because addiction is real, I'm trying to fucking. Bro, check my location. What do you mean? I'm right here.
You can't see me.
I'm right here.
I'm not covering my webcam.
All right, whatever. I'll do that shit later. Nah, I got like I gotta do it now, bro. What the fuck is going on? I don't know shit about anything, man.
Don't worry, guys. I got you guys. Yeah. So
thank you.
Like we are on our album, movies, comics section episode on this little show that we call Earth, Mind, and Matter. We always talk about what's going on
in the earth.
In our minds.
And this is why it matters is Earth, Mind, and Matter. Welcome to the show. Fuck yeah. And today we're talking about the album section, even though we do albums, movies, and comics. Last week we did the anthology. The
comic section, yes.
With the comic section, the anthology. And today we're doing an album. And the album, I'm put this shit away. It's distracting. I'll figure it out. I hope so. Let's go Knicks. Fucking, we're talking about the album.
Yeah. We are totally talking about an album. And an album that we're talking about something that you chose this time around because you are hosting.
And next week, Javi will choose a movie.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And in the title, you'll know the album we're picking, but it is two of them, kind of. Yeah. Yeah, but it's pretty much revolving the artists, which is the band, the duo, Ratatat. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy. So if you don't know who Ratatat is, I think the best way to look at them, I mean, you can look at their hits real quick. You can pause this, go listen to a song. But I think one of the coolest ways, I would say, is if you're somewhere like at a beach or home and you have a moment, your day off, and you can smoke or no smoke, but I recommend it. Like smoke a little, put on Supreme.
Bad influence over here, guys.
Get your meth pipe. You ruin your life. And listen to Supreme on Magnifique by Ratatat. I mean, it's not like their best song ever, but I do like it very much. I think it's a very popular song, but it's super just transporting, and I think it captures a lot of what they are, but not in the sound sense because they have so much range, you know. And what I was gonna say earlier is that I chose this album and them because I've known about them for a while because of somebody I used to work with. Shout out to Magali. I think she's the one that put me on. Okay. But there was a song that goes like, I can't mimic it really well, but it goes do 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 do. Like it goes like that, right? I thought that was Ratatat, and I still think it is, but I couldn't find it. So the reason I chose this album because I wanted to hear that song again.
So you know, you were looking for it.
Yeah,
you were digging, dog.
Exactly. But I definitely have heard classics before. So we're covering classics, 2006, and Magnifique, which is 2015. But I knew of them regardless, and I was like, damn, both of these albums are pretty good, and that's why I didn't want to just choose one or the other. And they're so different, but of course they're the same because they're the same artists. Yeah. Anyways, I'm just excited to talk about them because,
as always, like when we do talk about these type of things in the A.M.C section, like a majority or a good portion of it is like talking about like the actual creators or artists or whatever it is behind the project that we're looking at.
Exactly.
So we are going to be talking about these albums, but also, like you said, we're going to be talking a lot about the artists themselves, which I'm excited to learn about.
Yeah, man, because and. One thing we were listening to before we started the episode was them talk in interviews. Let me get into it a little bit. So, what's it called? So they're based out of Brooklyn. Let's fucking go,
I didn't
right?
even know that off the rip.
Yeah, I don't know if they're completely from Brooklyn, but they definitely they definitely made a lot of music there, and they're an electric rock duo. The members are Evan Mast, who's a multi-instrumentalist and a programmer, and Mike Stroud, the guitarist. And they met as students at Skidmore College. Before being named Ratatat, they were called Cherry, like the fruit. And so Evan Mast, right, who's the multi-instrumentalist and programmer, is also a graphic designer and runs an independent record label with his brother. They go under the name Evax and E-Rock. Evan Mast, is also a visual artist. So this motherfucker's talented as shit, right?
Yeah.
And they both began to work together in 2001. What's it called? And in May of 2003, while still named Cherry, they played their first gig and later changed their name to Ratatat in September of that same year, 2003. And then in November of that year, they released their first record, the single 17 Years, on Audio Dregs, the record company, right? In the US, and Reps Records in the UK. And they had a limited run of 1,100 records. So I'll stop there, right? Just because I do feel like when I was looking into them, there isn't like a documentary. There isn't like these whole huge interviews, or all the interviews you heard right now were French. I guess they were in France at the moment. And how would you describe how they talk to the camera?
I mean, I'll relate it to another artist, the lead singer and guitarist to Remo Drive, Eric Paulson, if I remember his name correctly.
Yeah.
But it was super awkward.
Yeah,
it was
man.
very awkward. And like just like this guy from Remo Drive, it's a lot of just sort of like, like we kind of just go for like a sound.
They kind of talk like they're, we figure out our sound by playing the guitar and like that, and then you're just like, what the fuck? Because the music is so different, the music is so crazily just all over the place and real.
Like you would imagine that they would have a certain like confidence behind them.
Yeah.
Not saying that they're not confident people, but it's just like they're just so awkward.
Yeah.
Like, but I guess I guess it just kind of goes to show how maybe humble they are. Of like,
it could be, or it could just be their personality, how they are in general.
Yeah.
But I think it's dope regardless, because I think most of their music is really made to just, I mean, you got to be doing some sort of drugs to really grasp it all, But earlier you're saying how it would be to watch them when you're tripping, right?
Yeah.
And I was saying, well, I think it'd be amazing if that's what it's intended for, but I think you can also grasp their like just message to you through the music, just sober as it is, like just as a music lover. And I think that's what they are. They really are meant for people who love music. And I don't say that like douchey, I don't say it like, if you like actual, if you really like actual music, then you actually love Ratatat. But if you don't, because some people don't want that. Some people may think it's too like technological, no lyrics. It could be boring. I can see that completely. But I also think that, man, I've listened to these albums so many times in the past like 3 weeks. We were saying we're gonna cover it, and it's so fucking good, man. It doesn't stop being good.
I've been listening to these albums since like they've been out, honestly, and like so it was super nostalgic for me to like jump back into especially classics. Like there's just so many days like back in high school, just like fucking just like strolling like into school listening to classics. I'm like, damn, this album's so good.
How would you describe classics? Like to someone who's never heard it before, and then to someone who has listened to them before.
Well, I mean, I just feel like in general, to sort of relate to like what you're saying about how people might not like them, the reason why I do like them is because of the instrumental aspect of it all.
Yeah.
And it really opened the door for me to listen to other similar bands like that. Yeah. Like another big band that I love a lot that, I don't know how true this could be, but like I feel like maybe they take some inspiration from Ratatat, this band Starfucker.
Okay.
I absolutely love that band. And
you've been to their shows too and everything, right?
Once,
yeah.
And it's just they have a very like techno but still like indie rock sound to them. And like it's just, I think if they did come out after Ratatat, I wouldn't be surprised if they took inspiration from Ratatat. And it's just, they really set the way at that moment of like, you don't need to have lyrics in your music to be popular.
No. I mean, Mozart showed that. You know what I mean? I mean, all music is like that.
Without a doubt. But what I think was interesting when I was looking to Ratatat a bit myself is that on Spotify, they don't even have 1 million listeners.
No, it's like 500,000.
Yeah.
It's real low.
And then, when you look at the plays of the songs on classics, like Loud Pipes has almost 80 million plays.
Yeah. And just to put it into perspective for those that are listening and like, who the fuck are Ratatat? Let's see. Bjork, Daft Punk, Vampire Weekend, Mouse on Mars, Franz Ferdinand, CSS, The Faint, Super Furry Animals, Clinic, Panther, and The Killers have all worked with Ratatat. So have Kid Cudi.
Yeah.
And like some of the songs, like Pursuit of Happiness, Heaven at Night, all these things are Ratatat. Literally just the whole thing. just for Kid Cudi going over them,
right?
You know,
and that's why I was so surprised when Jordan said he hadn't heard of Ratatat. I was like, dude, like they were in Pursuit of Happiness with Kid Cudi and MGMT, like
and not even that. Kid Cudi, what's it called? Used the sound. I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty sure for Heaven at Night, when it comes to what's it called, the song blah blah blah, blah Taco Bell Cannon. That's like completely. You know that song, right?
I think so.
Have you ever been to Heaven at Night? Heaven at Night. You never heard the song?
Not off the top of my head.
You gotta put it on right now so you can listen. Put Heaven at Night by Kid Cudi. At Night, spelled Nite. But anyway, so that's actually the first time I pretty much heard Ratatat without knowing, because I loved Kid Cudi when I was younger. And this song is fucking great. And yeah, but I didn't know they did Pursuit of Happiness as well. They did A Live Nightmare. And what's it called? I'm gonna let you listen to this real quick before we continue.
Oh, I do know this.
You know that song, right?
Yes,
okay, cool. Yeah. But this song is fucking sad as shit. And I thought I always gave credit to Kid Cudi as heard it. Heaven at Night. Yeah, but to know it was them is wild. And I feel that's a lot of music that people, you know, listen to is someone else. And they're like, I've never heard of this person. I'm like, yes, you have, bro. Whether it be the actual music, the influence, you know, the sample of this and that.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And I know that one thing they were saying is that a lot of their sound is purely them performing it. So I think, remember we covered Mouse Hunt? And we saw the graphics and everything.
Right.
And how the fuck can they get a mouse to do that? But they got the mouse to actually do it. About 90% of it was actual stunts by the animals.
Yeah.
And the 10% were the graphics. Here, 90% of the music is actually them playing it. And then 10% of it is like, you know, just a little editing input and stuff like that. Right. But they really do strive to
actual instruments and stuff. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, because you know, I didn't even know that they were a duo before we were doing this.
I knew nothing about them themselves.
Yeah,
just the music. Yeah.
So and I purposely go as blind as I can into these episodes just so that I could be surprised.
Yeah.
But that is really cool to hear. It's just like they are just a small little duo, and like they are fully instrumental, because even listening to them back in the day, like I thought they did a lot of techno like electronic stuff into their mixes and whatnot. So to learn that a lot of it was really instrumental, that's dope.
Yeah, man. And they really I mean, the way so listening to classics yesterday, I kept smoking at the end of it to just really grasp it in and to get lost in it, you know, because most of the music I listened to walking to and from, like from LIC to Greenpoint, you know, and like listening to it, it was so great because I would be high, I'd be walking, and like you take this music with you and it just coats over your current experience, you know. I think like I wrote here today, I wrote Magnifique. I feel it's perfect music. The album Magnifique is perfect music for traveling somewhere unknown, because it really is just a strange but opening up like slowly to you. But this is how I described classics yesterday. I didn't edit it, so, and it's not that long. I wrote, I think while you listen to classics, you're in limbo. One that you wouldn't mind enduring because it's comfortable, groovy, and hypnotic. The album moves fast, although it takes its time and transports, or better yet, isolates you to experience the now coded in Ratatat's audible overload. With no lyrics, you can completely feel all Ratatat's trying to relay to you, because it's all said with their sound. It is enough to take with you and apply it wherever you are. Yeah, man, and I really fucking do feel that way, because classics is so incredible.
I doubt it. I doubt you feel that way.
Classics is so incredible, and I feel it really is the younger brother of Magnifique, and you know, in terms of just this conversation. And I heard their first album, Ratatat, yesterday for the first time, and it's fucking incredible as well.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good, and I mean, they're just extremely talented, and it's so difficult to pinpoint their genre, because they have such a mixture of it all within. Electric rock is pretty much like a very vague description.
Yeah, I mean that's where like other similarities come with like Daft Punk and things like that. Like I feel you know, if you like Daft Punk, you're probably gonna like Ratatat.
Yeah, actually I think the opposite. I think if you like Ratatat, you'll like Daft Punk. If you like Daft Punk, you may not like Ratatat.
Really?
Yeah, because Daft Punk is they're very fucking talented in general, and I think they have much more catchy things. Whereas Ratatat, I don't think they're meant to have catchy things. You know, I think like they have repetitive stuff, but I think even within the songs that are just constantly repeating itself, it really is constantly evolving and staying and heading to a different lane throughout it. Like what's it called? The first song, I mean, what we listened to just now is like Cream on something, Cream on Chrome, which is Magnifique, the first song. And then even Wildcat, just all these songs, they're like repeating constantly, but they're changing throughout, which is all music and what a song should do. But Daft Punk also is like, you get Around the World, like Around the World, it's more like bob your head, constant, the same shit, and I could be wrong about that back and forth, which is my opinion, but yeah.
No, I think you're wrong, dog. Just makes sense, just saying. But I mean, I think to sort of like balance the difference between Classics and Magnifique is that Classics with it, because that's what, their second album?
I think so, something like that. I could look up the discography right now.
So it's just with that, I feel like that was really them sort of stapling themselves of like, yeah, this is what we can do.
Yeah.
And it's just, considering an album like Magnifique, which came out in 2015, we're almost hitting 10 years of that. It's like, even though it is 10 years ago, it's not that long ago.
Yeah, I mean, but if you think about it, that's one thing that I realized, that this is all within 2000. Yeah, like, this is all from now to 2000, which is very young. Like, it's a very modern set of music. Like, this may be some of the earliest music we've covered. I think so. Like, I know we've covered albums that have come out recently. I'm just saying, like it's in the midst of established artists that have done so in this millennium. I
get what you're saying. Yeah, because like it's like those memes that we've been seeing recently of like early 2000s music being considered like classic rock now and classic hits and shit like that. It's like, oh shit. It's like we're getting to that point now.
I mean, but in general, I mean, some things are instant classics, some things classics with time, but I still consider it very young music, very recent. For me, this is not classic. This is like it's
literally called classics, frankly.
But I feel like
come on,
with this music, I feel because it's so recent that it's still happening right now. People still listen to Pursuit of Happiness, for the first time not too long ago. You know? But they only have 5 albums altogether.
Okay,
I haven't listened to LP3, LP4. But what I picked up from the articles is saying that when they created LP3, they just went on to make LP4 because they were already in the booth and they were having so much fun making music. They were like, fuck it, let's just make some more right now at the moment.
Right.
And it's cool. I'll go on to a little more stuff. What's it called? So they were signed to XL Records with their album that was called Ratatat. I said that already. Oh, no, that didn't. They were signed to XL Records. What's it called? And with their first album that came out through that was called Ratatat. And the single in that album was Germany to Germany. And it was written and recorded in Evan Mass's Crown Heights, Brooklyn apartment. It was all made on his laptop. And aside the vocal outs and songs, the album's entirely instrumental. And then 2006, through XO Recordings, Classics came out. In that year of 2006, October 6th, they were the first band to ever perform in the Guggenheim Museum in New York City.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's pretty dope. And it fits the narrative of this is made for people that do drugs. Because I've never been to the Guggenheim, but I know people who go to the Guggenheim are like tripping their balls out, or just really white people just being like with their hands on their chin, like, I get this, and I'm very moved.
I understand that this is speaking to the social inequality of the landscape of America that is a correlation of the tectonic plates. Yeah, it just says all of that.
I recycle.
And it's just a circle.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, bro. No, but the Guggenheim does look pretty fucking dope. And even watching their Coachella set a little bit like here, it's just really interesting, how like that's something that interests me when it comes to performances and concerts. Like we covered Chris Stone Kingfish, which is pretty much, I mean, he sings and there's a whole band. And he's a great fucking artist.
And he's huge.
He's black, he's huge, he's Kingfish. But when you go to a show and it's just instruments, I feel that these motherfuckers gotta be so good for it to be just that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think a lot of people have attention span.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
So
I mean that's definitely like what it was like when I went to go see Starfucker live, where like with them being a primarily instrumental band, like they do have songs where they sing and stuff, but they also have songs that are fully instrumental. And like there's definitely like a vibe shift throughout the set list when they would go from songs that had lyrics to no lyrics.
Yeah.
Where it's like for some songs that were fully instrumental, like people were definitely still vibing, like dancing and shit like that. But then there were other instrumental songs that were a little slower that people were just kind of like, I guess, like tuning out a bit and just kind of like checking their phones, this and that.
Which you should never do that in a fucking concert, bro. Get the fuck off your phone. I don't care if someone died. No, I'm kidding.
But you know, fuck, I can't remember if I told you or if I said it on the podcast.
Say it.
But did I tell you about the show that I watched online of Blink-182 in Brazil?
No.
Dude. Oh my god. I know we're talking about Ratatat, but this is just real quick since we're talking about live performances and stuff.
No worries.
But it's just they were in Brazil during their South American tour, which is one of their biggest tours that they've ever done. They're playing to like 70,000 people a night right now in South America. And they in Brazil it was about 115 degrees that night.
Yeah.
And Tom fucking basically almost passed out on stage like during their set. Like he fell to his knees during one of the songs and kept playing the guitar but couldn't sing. And they finished the song. He steps over to the side, starts throwing up a bunch.
Pussy. No, I'm kidding.
Mark and Travis just try to like entertain the crowd, like fill the air and stuff. They're about to play a song without Tom, so it would just be bass and drums. And right as they're about to do it, Tom comes back out with the guitar, plays a song with them and stuff. And like you can see that he's struggling,
but he does it anyway for the music. And
he
stuff.
does it anyway.
That's fucking awesome.
And when they played their one song, "Stay Together for the Kids," which is a really sad song about divorce and whatnot.
Oh shit, okay.
Another quick thing is that Tom for a while before they broke up and got back together, he actually wouldn't really sing the chorus of that song because I guess he was a little over it, but now he sings the chorus of that song again
for other people, right?
And at this show he did like this scream during the last chorus where he just like screamed at the top of his lungs so much that he fell to his knees again because he was about to pass out again.
It's crazy.
And he had to take a second and whatever, and by the end of the show like he started crying and like he was just really emotional about the whole thing. And like Mark and Travis like carried him out off set and stuff. There's even a moment where like Mark went over to him like, hey, you know, we don't need to do this shit, and Tom's like, no, I got this, like we got this. Right? And like it was just like, yo, man, I got emotional watching it. I was like, damn, dude, like I fucking love these guys.
Yeah, man. Who? I mean, this is completely different, but I think there's a football player called Brett Favre, whose father had passed away, and the next day he went to go play a game, and he went off and shit like that.
Man.
But it's, you know, like and then
that sort of obligation that you feel sometimes. Yeah.
And there's actually not. There's I think Isaiah Thomas, his sister had passed away. The next day he went to go on and play. I think he hit the game winner, or he just had an incredible game. And then another guy on the Patriots, his brother had died in a motorcycle accident, and I remember when he went into the Ravens, like coming out the stadium, like whatever, when he entering the game,
right?
It's either the Patriots or Ravens, vice versa. But then somebody had said something about his brother as he came out the tunnel. So yeah, isn't that crazy? Like an opposing fan.
That's crazy.
And
dude.
so it's crazy how sports can get like that,
like,
because
damn, what are you talking about?
Yeah, because and then
like,
why are you running? Why are you running? He's like, because they pay me. No, but what do you think about this? Because there was. I know people talk differently in like different parts of the states and stuff like that. And like we usually say to each other, we're like, boy, you know, like this and that. But, you know, apparently as white people, you know, like, you know, because we're white. No, I'm kidding. No, but if you're white people and you approach black people, you're not supposed to be like, boy, you know, because of course, you know, it just sounds bad. And I think there's a funny story about a comedian, Bert Kreischer. Like, he walks into a room full of majority black people, and he's like, boy, that shit was funny. And they were like, one of them pulls him aside. He's like, yo. What the fuck are you doing? He's like, huh? But for me, I feel that's just in my language, and I'm Mexican, you know, so I don't know how people feel, but I think I say that to anybody, you know. I'm like, boy, the fuck you doing? No, I'm kidding. No, but there was a basketball player, Russell Westbrook, who was playing basketball, and of course, in the game, and one of the fans has said something like,
we talked about this.
We did talk about it. Somebody said like, oh, you're just a small boy or something like that, you know. And then Russell Westbrook asked for that fan to get taken out. And I wonder, like, I just wonder, you think he was trying to be racist on purpose or not? Like, you think it was I mean, I get it, you just don't say those things, but I feel also people are just, I don't know. I think it's like it's just
it's a difficult thing. I mean, for that thing, for that case, I just kind of feel like it really could go either way. Like maybe the guy just does like to say boy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It could be that, and I just feel a lot of basketball players, like I've seen people get thrown out of games when most of them deserve it. When they get physical or they start using real slurs. But I think there was like one guy who just did something so minor, and then the player was like, "Hey, get him out of here." And like this guy paid like $2,000, $3,000 for like courtside seats. Damn. And even this is the last thing because it's completely out of topic. Baseball games, it's a
we
beehole.
haven't had a beehole in a while.
Yeah, man. It's at baseball games where if you sit in the back, it's the most fun because you get the fucking people with the nastiest language. Just the funny stuff that people all laugh at. Like I was at a baseball game and I was with Beatrice and we were sitting pretty good seats. It's kind of quiet though. Everybody's kind of timid. And then I ended up on the big screen. I was just there because the camera's right here next to me, right? Like the guy with the camera's like, and I'm just there. I'm gonna ignore him. I was like, I'm not even gonna give him the time of day. But then when the thing goes on, I get like 3 texts, and they're like, "Yo, Frankie, you at the game?" I was like, "What the fuck?" And then my friends were upstairs, Nazri, Carol, and Nazri's brother. Fuck, I forget his name. I'm so sorry. Edwin, I think. But yeah, I went to go up there, right? Because I went to go sit with them. Immediately, it was already fucking hilarious. Like people were just calling out random shit from the back. They were like, "This fucking guy can't throw for shit," just like, but very cleverly, Francisco Lindor hit a ball and he was like, $200 million fucking dollars for this guy to just swing the bat and just it's real sorry for the ears. And then a long time ago, I sat like 3 rows behind home plate in Boston to watch the Blue Jays and the Red Sox. And it's just not, I mean, it's crazy nice because you get to see the game. Like, that's how far Vladimir Guerrero was from me, like across from me to you.
I am Vladimir Guerrero.
Yeah, but it was just very quiet.
Right. And everyone's like,
at a baseball game. And I heard Yankee Stadium is more strict than Citi Field and Mets. All right, anyway, Ratatat, right? They are from Brooklyn. I still don't know what the fuck that is.
And you'll never know.
Fuck it, bro. Anyway, so back to their release of Ratatat, and that's when they got to perform, the first band to perform a public show inside the Guggenheim Museum in New York City. They then released Magnifique way later in 2015. Is
that their last album then?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. Pretty sure it is. Let's see. Yeah, I think it is. And it's a great one to come back with. Yeah. But that same year they performed Coachella and Governor's Ball. And in their Coachella set on April 11 is 2015 is when they debuted the song, which is the first song on Magnifique, Cream on Chrome, to the crowd and everything. So imagine hearing that shit and just, I don't know. And I also feel that like, because they're not as popular as we may have thought, it may be hard to grasp capturing who they are at all. Because, it's not really descriptive in terms of lyrics because they have none. Yeah. The one thing they really focus on is their visuals. And they said that their visuals is very crucial to their music because it allows, people who are watching them to feel what they're trying to do with the music. Right. Although I feel you can also take it when you listen. But of course, visual aid is always going to be helpful.
I mean, and I can't be alone in this and thinking of like, when I listen to music, I kind of if I'm feeling good or whatever, I kind of have that sense of like, oh, I'm like the main character.
Yeah, of course, as you should feel.
With like the music going on and shit like that. And it's just, when it comes to instrumental bands like this, I feel like that feeling is so enhanced. Yeah. Like there have definitely been times where it's like like I said, going to school and I'm just listening to this and I'm like listening to which song was it? It's like the sort of like sad rainy song.
I mean, there's so many of them that can be that way and stuff. Yeah. From which one, Classics or Magnifique?
From Classics. I know it's in the second half of the album, but it's just like it's difficult to pinpoint just from the titles.
For me, it's either Lex or Lax, Swisher or Taco Bell. Taco Bell Can, not that one. Swisher, I fucking love a lot. And funnily enough, for that one, I wrote the guitar in the beginning sounds medieval, and there's almost like a harpsichord in the background that's being plucked. And and if you look at a lot of interviews that come afterwards, a lot of them mention that the harpsichord is in there, and there's a whole bunch of different instruments and stuff. So I was pretty proud. I was like, oh shit, I got to fucking, because I just I knew something. But and in Magnifique, what's it called? I mean, the song, what's it called? In Drift. the twang and drift is so fucking good. You should play that song if you don't mind.
Gotcha.
Because drift is so fucking good, man. And while we listen to that, I'll talk about Magnifique just a little bit. So when I was younger and I did listen to this album, the cover was what grasped me the most because there's so much faces on it that are just random, and it's in black and white and gray. And it almost gives you the vibe of like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band, where there's so much people on the front. But with the Beatles, they use a lot of famous people there, like Jesus. Oh, Jesus was almost used. And even if listening now, we're listening to Drift, it's just so subtle, you know? And of course, it'll come later. But when you're listening to this song and you're walking, you know, like you do feel like, damn, this is my moment right now.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to wherever I need to be. For me, when I was listening to it today and yesterday, the two different albums, I was just within myself, you know, like I really was just very joyous to just only having done this, you know, like, which is listening to the music. Actually, I wrote here, this fucking ding. It's so fucking, can you put it a little higher? It's just good. I mean, instead of doing the A.M.C, I would rather just listen to this fucking album again, you know? And that's
just
no
live reaction.
And I'll write this. I wrote this after listening to, what's it called? Not Magnifique, but the album Ratatat, the first album. I wrote, after listening to the album Ratatat, man, best way I can describe music is if 8-Bit grew up, hit puberty, and started smoking a shitload of weed and needed a way to let out all its creativity and emotions. It is, of course, different bass than 8-Bit, but the vibes are there. All the musical adventure as classics and Magnifique are foreshadowed in the album. So worth it to take time out of your life and listen to, especially when it's listened to full through and the last two songs hit you like crazy. I'm listening to the last song, Cherry, as I write this. I'm sad, I'm happy, I don't know what I am, but lost within the beautiful experience that is the song, and until the last second plays, I'm cozy and in bliss for the significant moment that is my first time hearing this album and song. Very grateful Ratatat exists, dog. And then I just held out the period button until the song finished. You know? And although we're listening to a different album from when I wrote that, this is what this song makes me feel.
Right.
Like, it's so good. And I do think that if you ever, like, even if you're going through some hard shit, you can listen to this and you'll be good, you know?
Yeah.
Because it really just mellows you out and just says, like, life is supposed to be like that, you know, like back and forth. And within this time of just listening to the song, just be and relax, you know, because it's not easy, but you have to, you know. You know,
it's funny that you say just be. Throw back to Hoax.
What are you talking about?
Like, that's fucking hilarious. Actually, how that came back around. But
I remember I was shitting on that shit.
Hold on, let me see. Not Gettysburg, which I really want to find that sad song that I was thinking about.
I'll just talk a little while you look for it.
Swisher. It was Swisher.
Swisher? Yeah, Swisher's very good.
Like, I remember, like, days back in high school, like, walking to school and just, like, you know, on a rainy day having this going on. And I'm just like, yeah, man, this is the fucking vibe right now.
It's so good.
And it's just, thinking to what you said about how you feel like maybe people who don't like instrumental music might be bored about it or have low attention spans for it. There was a joke in Regular Show where Mordecai was listening to like a techno band or something, and he wanted to show Rigby the band, and so he started showing him a song, and it's like some weird techno song where it's like boop 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 boop, and so Mordecai goes, wait, this is the best part, and the song goes boom boom. And Mordecai just goes, oh, yeah. And Rigby's just like, what the fuck?
It really is like that, though, man. Because I remember when I was smoking a shit ton of weed, like the little sounds in the background of songs would be the ones that are like, oh, you know what I mean? Like those, like if you hear a little, and you're like, it's fit in there correctly, you're just like, yeah.
I feel like anyone can relate to that, where it's like when you do like catch those little subtleties in songs and stuff, you're like, oh shit.
Because they do pop up more when you're like, fucking high as shit. When you're high as shit, you realize those things. And I think that's why I got hyped for this album. Like, cause I had to, man. Cause I was like, there's no way I'm gonna talk about this shit and not have listened to it. So yeah, last night, even today, as I walked here, I smoked a little bit, and I was just there. I got my fucking $7 latte. Jesus
hey man, at least it wasn't $5 for a little kitty cup.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Fuck out of here. Coffee's expensive, bro. But this fucking album is just. I mean, this duo is so incredible, and I really think their talent is so blanketed by just not blanketed, but overshadowed. But I mean, there's so much music out there, but this probably won't cross a lot of people's radars naturally. And I really do hope, there's a lot of times we do A.M.C. and, we're just talking about it because we enjoy to listen, watch, or read it. But this is one that I hope people will take with them. And like Jonathan goes runs and, listens to this, or people are just travel on an airplane and take time to listen to the album because it really is life-changing. And I really admit it. This album's better than fucking Nirvana's Nevermind. Yeah. Like this, and I love that. Yeah, both these albums are so much better than that album, Kurt.
I would say that for myself, like, like I said, I've been listening to these guys like since they've been out and stuff, and it's just it is incredible now to hear about their actual history and like learning about themselves. Like even learning that they used to be called Cherry. Reminds me of another band that I'm discovering, or more so getting into now, called Mount Eddie, and I know them as just Mount Eddie, and they have like one album and one EP. And I found out that the reason why they only have just that much music is because they changed their name entirely to Ultra Q.
So you would never have known where they went, right? That's crazy.
So they changed their name to Ultra Q, and like it's like a similar vibe, but it's like a huge like difference between the two bands and stuff. And so it's like you could see where like the roots were in Mount Eddie, and like where now they are in Ultra Q. So
but that's what it's supposed to be. That's why I changed the name, to like a new chapter almost.
So I'm really curious to imagine or to think about what Cherry's music sounded like and stuff.
And also how, I think, forget his name, Matt or something like that, E-Rock or Evax. He makes music on that side with his own name, with his brother. So there must be remnants of that. What's it called? And there's a lot of questions here too that I found in interviews that honestly being read are way better than listening to them talk, because it's hard to hear respectfully, but I'll read some of them full, some of them partially, but there's only a couple. But but with Magnifique, let me just say this first, because that was something that I wanted to really just put some
emphasis on.
Not emphasis, just little fun facts about it. So the faces on the cover and stuff, that was all drawn by what's this called? But by both of them. Let's see. I have it right here actually.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. And it isn't really anybody in particular. It was just a bunch of random faces that they drew while they were making the album. So let's see. I wanna find where exactly. At one point, Mask gathered the drawings together in a collage, and it looked so cool that the two made 100 more drawings. Mask was inspired by the cover art to create the stop motion video for Abrasive by hand, which was made from around 4,000 drawings and showcases the same artistic style as the cover. Nice. So that's why I asked about Abrasive, because he did that all by hand, and it's a simple video, but again, this is him making the music and drawing the drawings for the video that's stop motion, which is crazy, bro. And yeah, 1 second. Let me just find this shit real quick.
I had no idea, but I just tried it out right now on Spotify. You guys should try this out on the desktop app.
Yeah.
If you click on the album image, it'll enlarge the album image.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So, now you don't have to like fucking go on Google to like look
zoom
at a
in and shit,
image of an album cover. Nice. Thanks, Spotify.
When they were making the album Magnifique, they said, quote, "We were so hard on ourselves. We scrapped so many songs when recording Magnifique. It took us a really long time to figure out what we wanted the record to sound like. It was kind of important to us to take a step back." Right? And
that's interesting to hear, because it's a 14-track record. Yeah. Like, I can only imagine like how much more longer it probably was originally.
Probably so much more. I mean, they did the right thing. I mean, it's a perfect album. For me, it's a perfect album. They wrote about the album.
This album or Thriller?
This album. No, I'm kidding. Chill out.
I need to gauge where your head's at.
They wrote. I mean, of course, in history, the Nevermind is so much more like there and like potent. But I think personally, I think these albums, both of them, are better than a lot of famous albums. They wrote about Magnifique, quote, I feel like everyone can kind of have like their own associations with different songs. Stroud says, like, there are no lyrics, there is no story to follow or anything. You kind of zone out to it, which I like. And what's it called? And this is what the writer wrote about the music, which I think really fits. He wrote, as a whole, no one concept propels Ratatat's music. It is more akin to modern art, wherein the viewer imbues whatever meaning he or she wishes upon the work. The band's instrumental nature leaves interpretation wide open. And I think reading about them a lot is like showing me that they're so fun to write about because it is all extremely subjective.
Yeah.
Like even and you have no way to not be vague. Like even that description itself was vague, Even what I wrote was vague.
I mean, I've honestly been thinking about it myself for quite a while now. Where I'm just like, how are we even going to tackle this episode?
Exactly.
It is our first instrumental album.
Oh, shit, I didn't even know about that. Yeah. Nice. Nice.
Yeah, so it's like I was really struggling to think about how we were going to tackle this and stuff. Which is like, how do we pinpoint certain things or keys about songs that are like, oh, we like this about this song or this or about that song. And it's just because it really just comes down to a tenet. Yeah. It's a feeling.
Yeah, it really is.
Like it's a feeling, guys.
Except this makes sense. And I think I didn't even think about that, but I'm very grateful I wrote down those like things that I thought of after I listened to it.
Yeah, no, those are solid.
Yeah, because it's just how I felt, and I think that's what this album is purely it's really just how you feel emotionally afterwards, and again, it goes back to that thing where music alters moods. Like this is definitely a big component of that saying. So the questions they have here, one of them is there also seems to be some I can't say the word ambiguity.
Yeah, you got it.
Jesus Christ! All right. There also seems to be some ambiguity as to whether or not the instruments are recorded live, sampled, programmed, etc. What would you say the ratio is? And he says there's almost no sampling, probably about 90% live. Sometimes we'll go in and chop things up and reorganize them, but every time there's a guitar part, it's one of us playing guitar. Every time there's a piano, it's one of us playing piano. We are not crate diggers. We don't go to thrift stores and look for the records. I was like, damn. I was like, that's fucking dope.
To relate that again to a Starfucker, that band actually started as a one-man band where it was just the one dude like doing all the instruments and electronic
that's the guy.
stuff.
So that's the band with the guitar and the other guy's a bassist or a drummer.
No, that's you're thinking of Death from Above, 1979.
Okay. I remember you told me about them a long time ago. It's just two guys. Yeah. And then you showed me a song. I was like, no way.
Yeah.
I was like, no way, it's two guys.
Yeah, just two dudes on bass and drums, and the bass sounds like a fucking guitar, and it's sick. But that's besides the point. But with Starfucker, like similar with these guys, like they're very self-produced. Like they do like all their own shit and stuff. Like it's very indie. And it's like I think it's so interesting to think about how like they're just not as popular as we thought they would be. Like only 500,000 listens. Like what?
I think what they are is what like a comic is, like a comedian that makes comedians laugh, and like of course they make people laugh, but comedians really enjoy them because they get them. It's like if you like movies, of course you like Quentin Tarantino, right? But directors, what movies do they like? What movies do filmmakers like? And it's probably some motherfucker in Germany who like Zone of Interest, trash ass movie. No, I'm kidding. But and so a comic is that, and I think for musicians, Ratatat is there for them because so many have reached out to work with them, and I think. They're so significant in sound, man. They're like so revolutionary, extremely influential, and have implemented themselves in people's lives like creepily, like they haven't done so blatantly. Like your favorite artist uses Ratatat to elevate their own music.
Yeah,
so that's crazy. You know?
I think in general, because even when we said that before with Kid Cudi, I think in general that's something maybe a lot of people don't realize or think about sometimes. Of just like, you know, a lot of famous artists do have songs written for them.
Yeah, of course.
Like Rihanna doesn't like write her own songs.
Yeah. I think a lot of people don't write their own music.
Like, you know, Billie Eilish doesn't write her own music. What else? I actually found out recently, relating back to Green Day, that Billy Joe Armstrong actually does write songs for other artists too. Sometimes.
Oh, I believe it. I mean, I think if you're a strong songwriter, you definitely do so for other people. And I think it's incredible. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that wholeheartedly, because if you're a singer that's talented, it's like Elton John. Yeah, Elton John was with
his buddy.
Yeah, and people were not liking him at all, and then his buddy was like, "I got you, bro."
Yeah, man.
And so sometimes the talent is there, but the songwriting skills isn't. Right. And I think
so. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I just think that's interesting because it's like, you know, since people don't really think about that, it's like people don't really think about where like the root or the source of like these sort of things are. Yeah. And it's just, you look at a artist like Kid Cudi, people who listen to Pursuit of Happiness, easily one of the most popular songs out there.
Probably his most popular song. Yeah. Or Day and Night, you know, whatever.
And it's just like people, and I'm pretty sure in Pursuit of Happiness it says featuring Ratatat.
No, it's featuring MGMT.
So doesn't say featuring Ratatat.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Look it up.
Oh my god!
Yeah, because I would have seen that when I was younger, but I'm for sure it does feature MGMT. But that's what it is.
No, yeah, it has Ratatat. Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, because
does it also say MGMT or not?
It does. So it has both of them alongside Kid Cudi.
That's so interesting.
So that's why I think it's interesting where it's like people like Jordan don't know who Ratatat is. I'm like, bro, what? Crazy. You know who Ratatat is,
and that's the cool thing about that whole thing, where it's, man, they're just so dope for that. And they were talking about how they work with Bjork and Kid Cudi, and when it came to Bjork, she wanted to remix Bjork.
Bjork, remind me.
I don't know any of her music, but she's very popular. Like, she was in also the movie The Northman with Anya Taylor-Joy, William Dafoe. Yeah. She was in that movie for no fucking reason. She had like one part where I was like, why the fuck are you even here, bro? like this movie's not even that great, and you didn't have to like be a part of it to like hype it up even more. The movie was all right. She was just dumb. And I was like, what the fuck? Get out of here, bro. You need to leave.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
She got me so tight when I watched that movie. I was like, what the hell, bro? That movie was weird. But I've only ever known her through, Obia just likes her, but also that there's a YouTube video of some guy who ends up killing himself to Bjork. The guy who painted his face or some shit like that, and whatever, and he killed himself to the song of Bjork, and he would always like send her letters like creepy and stuff, and she never really addressed it, I think so. So Ratatat said that working with Bjork wasn't as like personal. Like he said, I mean, they said that they did spend a day with her, you know, talking. But when they worked with Kid Cudi, it was way more like collaborative.
Gotcha.
You know, and I do believe Kid Cudi is a great artist and musician through the work he does, because there's a lot of shit. But when I was listening to Ratatat's music on Kid Cudi's music or vice versa, whatever, I would always credit Kid Cudi with a sound. That's like when I was younger, because I was like, this is crazy. But yeah, to know it's Ratatat is like, oh shit, like that's even crazier. That they would make this sound. But I think when it comes to Kid Cudi making Heaven at Night, that's kind of incredible as well. Because I mean, I don't know if you remember, but do you know what your initial like emotion was hearing Taco Bell Cannon before Kid Cudi's Heaven at Night? Like, do you know, like, how? Because that song sounds sad, but I feel like I'm tainted because of Heaven at Night. You know?
Well, I think I heard Taco Bell Cannon before I heard Heaven at Night.
What's what I'm saying? Like, do you remember?
So I think for myself, when I heard Taco Bell Cannon, if I throw that on real quick, like when I first heard this song, I'm trying to think, because like I'm gonna skip ahead.
Yeah,
like.
Because it definitely has a drastic ending compared to its like beginning. You know.
I am also realizing that it's like a pretty decently long song.
Yeah,
4.5 minutes. Yeah,
and then at the end when it ends with the star bits of like ding 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 ding,
yeah,
you know, it's like
if I remember correctly, that was so long.
That's what I'm saying. So it's very difficult, you know.
It's just like all I could imagine is that it's just like I felt very like at peace, or it's like I feel like as sort of an outro song, this works very well. Where it's just kind of like, like you said, the twinkle, like you said with the twinkles at the end, you just kind of like fade off away.
Yeah, man, and it explodes you into something. I mean, it's an impressive song, and I think this, and so well, for Kid Cudi to having a night, you know, to add that onto it and stuff is so perfect, and I think it doesn't take away from either song. You know, I do prefer Kid Cudi just because Kid Cudi's Having a Night is one of the greatest songs he's ever done in his life. You know,
I think one of my favorite Kid Cudi songs is super underrated. That New.
Oh yeah, I mean that whole album. That's a Kid Named Cudi or something else. I forget.
But from what it's from. But
old Kid Cudi is better than any new Kid Cudi ever. He has a song Eminem tie, but that New is great. That whole mixtape is great, and I miss mixtapes so much. I miss them way more than shitty albums. They're so bad. What's it called? So
all I'm saying is, you know what my favorite song is?
Hell yeah. One of the questions they were asked is, so has technology made things easier for you since the first album? And they say, I say they because I don't know who's answering, but Ratatat, you know. Our recording process is still really similar. A lot of the techniques are exactly the same, but we've practiced them so much that something that would have taken us a week to do, then we can do in 15 minutes now. Things can be a lot more immediate, which is great. Which you have an idea, we can get it down right away, rather than having this translation where you can lose something, right?
So kind of like with this show.
So that's why I brought up this these questions, because funny enough, this is the second question. Is it ever weird or frustrating working as a duo? Does it ever lead to creative issues since there isn't a third party there to resolve a dispute or veto a decision? And this is their answer. Yeah, it can lead to issues, especially when you've been working together as long as we have. You get to know each other's personality so well. A lot of times we can kind of guess what the other person is going to say, or what their idea is before they even have it. I guess sometimes you kind of want a little more of a curveball. It's always really good for the same reasons too. We've gotten so used to working with each other than we can kind of communicate ideas really well because we both understand the way the other one works. We know each other's strengths really well. We often know what's going to happen. And I was like, yeah, bro. Yeah, it really is like that, man. Because if you guys go through our text,
honestly,
Jesus Christ.
Just don't look at the stickers.
Don't look at the stickers. But it really is. I mean, that was really interesting. And it's funny you brought that up with the podcast, because for me, that's what I thought of when I was reading this shit. I was like, oh, yeah, hell yeah, bro. This is definitely applicable.
Yeah.
But even then, you're able to produce something that's, you know, growing, and just like the music, just like the podcast. I mean, we're in definitely different areas of growth. But yeah, I don't know. I'm extremely grateful to have listened to both these albums again. Like this is the best part of the show, getting to revisit older music, or like new movies and comics, or finding new ones, of course. But this one is so crazily stuck in my brain. I'm not even tired of it, like one bit.
I mean, you know, and like you said, I really hope you guys actually go out of your way to listen to this shit, because it's like, you know, it is hard to tell. Like, there's no way for us to know, like, if you guys are actually going out of your way to listen or read or watch the things that we're looking at. But that's also why we try to shout out these things at the end of the episodes beforehand, which I honestly can't remember if we did it for last episode or not. But that's besides the point. But I mean, you know, we do our best to do that now because we want you guys to be included in this conversation. We want you guys to know what we're talking about, and that you guys can have a sense for that as well.
And enjoy the fucking music too, man. Find your new favorite song, new favorite comic book, new favorite movie, or even like inspire you to revisit those areas of media, and just go back to whatever you like. You know, that's why we do the fucking show, man.
Like, you know, and even to relate it more so to like myself with my music of like punk and emo and stuff, like there's always that joke of like, oh, you know, it's a phase, but like I never grew out of it. It's like, fuck that. Just you know, who gives a shit how old the music is? Go fucking listen.
That's
to
what
it.
I'm saying,
like,
man.
just if you like it, you like
bro,
it.
The other day I was laying on my bed and I put on old like 2000 like rock and everything, like stuff that you would show me and stuff, but like really old. like what's that? But because I saw that video of the "I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby," yeah, you know, like that shit. I was like, I want to listen to it, and then I was there for like an hour. Bro. I was like, hell yeah, bro. I was like, this is nice. And then it was really fun. So yeah,
I'm about to take you to pop punk karaoke, dog.
Yeah, that song is fun. But then that guy singing it is even crazy. It's motherfucker really went hard because they have a Tiny Desk concert. They have,
I don't think I've seen that.
So let me actually show you. Let's end the episode with that. I'm gonna show you that real quick because it's really funny because he went hard, bro. Teenage Dirtbag, right?
I feel like more. It's prom night and I am lonely, lo and behold, she's walking over to me. This must be fake. My lip starts to shake. And how does she know who I am? And why does she give a damn about me? She said I got tickets to Iron Maiden, baby. Come with me Friday, don't say maybe. I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby like you.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's just so funny to see him get into that character. You know, my bad took a while. We could edit it so it comes out a little better. But he go,
he really hit that. Damn, dude. I'm impressed. You know, I'm over like that. That was good.
You didn't see it this before and everything.
That Tiny Desk concert, nah.
That part only I saw because it popped up on Reels and it shows him only doing that part, and I'm like, I'm listening to the song right now.
No, I mean, we just pretty good band.
That's dope, man.
I generally don't listen to them too much anymore nowadays, but it's like, you know, they were pretty good back in the day.
That's really the only song I knew from them. So when I heard it, I was like, damn, this song fucking rocks.
Yeah, man. I can't remember if I can't remember who's opening up for Sum 41 when I go see them, but I think
it's Kesha.
I really hope it's Simple Plan.
Simple Plan?
Simple Plan.
Simple Plan. Okay.
Because if it's Simple Plan, I know they're gonna play the Scooby-Doo theme song, and I'm gonna be so fucking hyped.
That sounds very Good Morning America.
Like,
that'd be cool. I'll be hyped too.
I'm gonna be in that fucking pit, fucking just singing Scooby-Doo. Like, oh my god, I'm so hyped for that.
That sounds dope as fuck. I feel there's a band that goes on all the time when I'm working because the cooks play it, and they Suicidal Tendencies. Yes, but I know of them because of what's it called? Either Tony Hawk or Matt Hoffman's
sounds
DMX.
about right.
Yeah. And then there's one where he's talking like this in the background, and I think that he wants to kill himself, but society and the government, and it's like, you know, that's the whole song.
Would you remember off the top of your head, and we can sort of end it off like this? Would you remember off the top of your head what game Loud Pipes is on?
Loud Pipes? No, I don't know. But that's why I wrote the 8-bit thing, because this whole thing, this Ratatat's music can go on a fucking 8-bit game, easy, like easy money. But no, I don't remember. But I wonder what was that song called again? The band is called Suicidal Tendencies, right?
Yeah,
right. But there's a song. Right, there's a song they have that sounds exactly how I just said it. And Mom and Dad.
Loud Pipes was an MLB 07 The Show.
Get out of here! I would never have guessed that.
Yeah, man.
I thought it was a more like a what's it called, colorful game, MLB. But FIFA ends up having good music a lot of times.
Yeah, Doug. I used to play MLB The Show like crazy.
Yeah, MLB is fun, bro.
I was really, I'm like, good, okay with that shit, dog. I was like, yo,
what's that song? The Young Folks.
Yeah,
that song was in FIFA. But yeah, that's our A.M.C section.
that's A.M.C section, y'all. We did it.
We did it. That was. Check out the socials. Earthmind Matter Pod. Earthmind on TikTok and Instagram. Earthmind Matter, all one word, on YouTube. And let's go Knicks. I hope they win.
Let's go Knicks.
Let's go Knicks. Thank you, Ratatat.